Okay guys, I'm here at my 2009 Mini Cooper and I just got in my WeatherTech Sunroof Wind Deflector. This is made by WeatherTech. It's a American company and it's made in the US of A, so I kind of like that. So at least that's what they advertise. So what you get is the instruction sheets. You get the sunroof wind deflector, and you get these things called magic clips. I was looking online that there's other brands, but they just use a sticker or that sticks on, and then you get reports of them flying off while they're going down the highway. So I kind of like it that they use clips to hold it on rather than just stick it into the roof of your roof. So let me unwrap it and let's take a look at it. Okay, I got this online from WeatherTech. Cost about 60 bucks. $15 for shipping and about $3 in tax, so it ended up costing about $78 total for this piece. But I don't mind paying a little bit more as long as it doesn't fly off my my roof. So what you get is this it's tinted, and there's the two holes for the magic clips, which is right here, and they advertise this to be 4 millimeters thick. So let's get out the calipers and check that out. Okay, got my calipers out and let me zero them out. So let's take a look. See if we can get a better shot. Yeah, we're doing about 4.3 millimeters around. So yeah, so it's actually a little bit thicker than 4 millimeters, but that's nice. I had a hood deflector that I put on the Telluride and it just started to crack like crazy. So, and this is supposedly a lifetime guarantee too, which is kind of nice. So let's measure the distance between the two holes. Okay, just for people to know, between those two holes it's about maybe 30. It's going on a curve. It's probably about 30 or a little bit over 30 inches, but looks like they put them about 30 inches apart. So that means from the center of my sunroof is 15 inches on either side. So I'm gonna do a wind test first before I put this on, and we'll do a wind test afterwards. So before I prep the roof, I want to take off my roof rack, so let me go ahead and do that. I got my roof rack off, and this is what I did. So there's about my center point, which is 30 inches divided by 2, which is 15 inches to each side. Then I go ahead and put these little pieces of string along the side as wind indicators, and I got some over here too as wind indicators, and I had one extra piece of string, so I stuck it down there. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and drive it like this, and down my road about 40 miles an hour, and let's see what happens to these little pieces of string in terms of how the wind flows, and then we'll put the sunroof deflector on and see if it makes a difference. Okay guys, I'm in my 2009 Mini Cooper, and we're going to see what happens to these little string wind indicators without the sunroof deflector. So I got them on the front and I got them on the back, but let's go ahead and see what happens with them on the front. So I have my son hold the camera while I'm driving, so I can't film and drive at the same time. So I'm going about 30 miles an hour. So you kind of see the little strings get lifted up a little bit. Why don't you go a little further back? As I slow down to a stop sign, they're going to drop. Okay, let's pick up some speed here again. Let's see what happened to them. Go about 40 miles an hour, they start picking up. They're pretty horizontal. Let's go ahead and look, flip around to the back, and we'll see what happens to the ones in the back. So you see those actually are even though I'm going forward, those are actually lifting up and pointing toward the front of the car, which is kind of interesting. I'm still going about 40 miles an hour. This one down here is kind of a little random, but you see the ones on top, they actually lift up from the wind. I have the two windows inside the car rolled down, so let me go ahead and roll them up and see if it makes a difference. Okay, it's much quieter, but looks like they're still doing the same thing. The front, they're still kind of about 40 miles an hour. And let's look at the back again. Yep, and the back is still kind of like lifted it up and pointing toward the front of the car. That's the way the turbulence or the wind's going. So we'll go ahead and put the sunroof deflector on and see if that kind of changes the pattern of these little things. Okay, what I have here is the magic clip. This is one of them. You have the clip here, and then you're supposed to slide on this little plastic piece underneath it. Like that. Piece of screw attaches to that. Then on the top end, you have your screw and a washer. So your windscreen sits on top of that, and this is going to hold it down. So what they say is this magic clip with this little clip piece on the bottom here is supposed to hook underneath this part here. So what I did is got a trim tool here, and you can see that this is actually adhesive on here, because when you pull it back, you'll see that the gluey stuff. So I went ahead and created a gap there by pushing it in, probably where I think it's going to be. Then push this down, then pull it up like a fish hook, and it hooks in just like that. So let me go ahead and do the other side, maybe we get a better view at it. Okay, by moving this in place, I can kind of see through the hole down to where I need to mark it, or put this in to put the clip. So that gives me a better idea. Okay, so next thing is go ahead and line this up as far back as you can and see if the screws line up. Let me check the other side. Okay, the one that I had to move the other one, the first one I put in, but just to make sure you're parallel, go ahead and just eyeball a good measurement. I'm about 14 inches, a little bit more than 14 inches. And this side, I probably need to shift it back a little bit so it'll be nice and parallel. And then I went ahead and put the screw in just to hold it on this one. You do need to push it on the bottom and push down to get it to bite a little bit, because this thing's supposed to be really flexible, and tighten it down so that way you actually form to the top of your roof. Okay, I found the easiest way was to go ahead and put the screw in when you get them pretty close and get it to bite on this side and get it to bite on the other side. Then go ahead and take your measurements, and I'm about 14¼ inches. And then if it's not right, then go ahead and just like shift it a little bit to where you want it. Now what they say is you want to go and tighten it down till you get a nice good seal around, but I guess don't over tighten it either. They don't give you a torque or anything, so I guess that's, you gotta go by feel. Okay, see right here I have this gap, so I do want to tighten this side down. The other side's pretty good. Tighten it down till you close up that gap, and you'll see that when I push down on it there will be some slack up here. So I'm going to go ahead and tighten that down to get rid of this gap right here. Okay, the reason I was getting that gap up front was because it was not hooked in correctly. Right now it's hooked in. You can see it's nice and tight, and the seal is tight up against like it was before, so should be good. And just check both sides and make sure it's actually hooked onto the roof. So this is what it looks like with the WeatherTech Sunroof Deflector for 2000 Mini Cooper. I like this rubber seal here. It goes all the way around. I like magic clips that kind of hold it in. It feels really tight and fitted. Going down the highway, it's not going to fly off. So let's go ahead and take it out for a drive and see how these little pieces of string react differently. Got the WeatherTech Sunroof Deflector on, and you can see actually the static electricity actually caused some of these to stick to it, to the top here, but most of them are hanging down. So let's go ahead and take it down the road at 40 miles an hour and see what happens. They're a little more random. If you remember when it didn't have the deflector, they kind of just lifted off the way the turbulence kind of like just lifted it up. Now still going 40 miles an hour. Sorry, it's bumpy. You can see that they are wiggling a little bit. They're not going straight up. It seems like sometimes they go up or they go down. So I'm not sure exactly what's happening there. So let me go ahead and roll up the windows and see if it makes any difference in the back. We know nothing's happening in the front. So, oh, that's interesting. Now, when you see the windows down, I'm going 50 miles an hour. They're actually being pushed down rather than being lifted up like before. So that does make a difference. That deflector kind of like deflects the air and maybe drags it downward further back in the sunroof there a little bit. So, that's interesting. So let's go ahead and head back home. Okay, I didn't notice until I got back and had to peel off the little piece of string. This is actually touches the top here. So this actually rests, not a lot, there's not a lot of pressure on here, but it actually is on it. So that kind of helps as the wind is pushing on the top here. This piece probably still helps support it and gives it some, makes it rigid. So I haven't tried closing the sunroof, so let's go see what happens. So let's take a look at it from outside. That's pretty good. I'm liking it. So it costs about $78 with shipping and tax from WeatherTech, and looks nice and clean. Got a nice tight seal on the bottom here. Let's take a look at it from outside when I open the sunroof. So that's pretty nice. So like I said, this, you want to leave this piece in because it actually pushes up on here, and I think it helps keep it nice and rigid. So I think that's a keeper, and good luck on yours. Thanks for watching.